Life is a garden. We're all gardeners, and I'm Alicia. Today we are sitting in Jackalope, which will be the headquarters for my podcast from here on in. But today's a little bit of a different story. Today is a story from my heart and my soul to you. It's just me. I have no guests today. It's just me ranting and rambling about things that make me feel good. But there will be, on a regular basis, we will be doing a lovely podcast with creative conversations and interesting people. And I invite you to come and listen because I promise it'll always be something juicy. I have not always been a landscaper. I started landscaping by accident, and it came about because I love trees and plants and flowers. So I was a photo stylist in Miami and did a lot of catalog work. The department store at the time, which I don't even think is here anymore, called Sears and Roebuck, I think it might have been just Sears, called me to do a set design so they could sell their aluminum siding, their paint, and their roof and their garage doors. So they asked me to set up a scene, like a, set design of a garden that could be anywhere in the USA. It was such a juicy project. It felt so good to dive in. I mean, literally, there was some soul connection between the plants and I that I had no idea was there. And I just went away with it and did it. And the art director was the coolest guy ever. And he called me one afternoon and while we were still shooting, and he said, before we started shooting, but when the set was done, he said, I think you're missing your calling, Alicia. I think you should be working with plants. And I didn't realize it was love between plants and me and flowers. And so from that moment, when he said that to me, it was an aha moment that said, yes, I should be working with plants. They speak my language. And so I became a master gardener. I was living in Florida at the time. There's a program through the extension. Here it's through UCLA. In Michigan, it was through Michigan State. And I took a class, which is like a 13-month class. And then you have to volunteer your time. So I call myself a master gardener, but technically you have to give a lot of time back to the program, which I have not been keeping up with. I've been a master gardener for quite a few years already, but I have not kept up with what it really is to be a master gardener, but the knowledge I've kept up with. So I really know my plants. I really know my zones. In fact, I'm a master gardener in Michigan and in New Mexico, in Florida, and in California. How many people can say that? After I finished that job at Sears, I had always been doing my own pots. I was pregnant actually with my first child. And so that was like 31 years ago. And we had just bought a house and I was doing the landscape on my own, especially after I, was aware of what was growing because that was in Miami. And I started making these big containers with chicken wire and moss and all this hangover. And it was so good. My neighbors were all asking me to buy them. So I started selling these baskets. They were so beautiful. They took so much time and, whatever. But then I realized this is what I want to do. And then I had a baby. So I was able to study about plants and I had more time to do things as opposed to being a photo stylist because it's really a lot of work. And it just kind of divinely worked its way into this beautiful, firmly planted business. And so the real thing is, it was a hobby that became a work. And I feel like I can say from experience, when you're really doing something that you're good at because you love to do so much, it's a win-win. So I really know that it doesn't work unless you're following your heart. I mean, I love the styling thing. It made a lot of money. It was creative. I worked great with, the crews and stuff, but it wasn't like the plants. The plants spoke to me on a different level. If you can find something that speaks to you on that kind of a level, you got it made. And as I always say, when you partner up with the universe or Mother Nature, it's a win. I mean, there's no downside to that whatsoever. Even on the worst rainy, freezing day and everything looks like it's dead, you got Mother Nature's got your back. So I love that. I love knowing that. I'm so grateful to be knowing what I know and be this garden designer. But to be perfectly honest, I'm going to be 63 at my next birthday. And I would love to take all this juicy knowledge and, figure out like my next move with this juicy knowledge, which is why I started a podcast, because I love to talk to people about life and gardening. And I feel like, and I'll say it until ever, life is a garden. We are all gardeners. We are all planting seeds. We all want to get rid of weeds. We all want to have boundaries and borders. We all want to have a beautiful blooming life, a beautiful blooming garden, a beautiful blooming career. This is all part of life as a garden. And that's the name of my podcast. And that's what I'm so excited to be doing. Working as a set designer and a photo stylist was fabulous, because you really do get to use your creativity all the time. And you work with so many fabulous people that it was fun. So could I have made that a career? Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to have the babies the way I did. I mean, it's a really demanding job. You have to be, and the stylist, first in, last out for sure. So you have to be really on your game. It starts at 4 a.m. There's no like baby time in there. There's barely any poop time in there. It is like a full on thing, but it's so good. It's so fun. It's so creative. It's amazing. So I thought I could make a career of it, but you just know what you know when you know it. Like, had I known that gardening would feel this way, I would say no. Had I not known about gardening, I'd say, yes, I'll be a stylist forever. It's fun. There's so many, you could do TV. I was doing videos, lots of print stuff, a little editorial. And whenever you're working whenever I'm doing something creative, my heart rate changes. Like, the hair on my neck is like, yay. So I feel like that's what I want to be doing. And I was having those feelings, but it was a different kind of feeling. Now that I know what real soul connection is, I wasn't having a soul connection with styling, but I was having a fabulously fun time. The gardening thing, whole different level. Yeah. This is what I was meant to be around plants and flowers. I don't know if I necessarily would have to be digging holes and schlepping from the nursery, but I was meant to surround myself with that, because I know that beauty and nature are the keys to the kingdom. They are what heal me. They are what help me heal others. That is like my calling. There are nurses that want to heal people because they have a different kind of calling. I believe that when you surround yourself with beauty and nature, you will feel better. I believe I can help somebody get there in a very humble way. With the right plant in the right place, you can have Eden in anywhere, even in a room that's. So I believe that is my calling. I believe I never really call myself a healer, but I kind of feel like plants can be healing, and nature and surrounding yourself, that's all healing goodness. So I like this because I can be giving and getting. And if I keep myself in the consciousness of like, it's me and Mother Nature doing this, it's not just me being some ooh. And when I say ooh, I mean like I'm this great gardener, because I am a good gardener, but that's not what this is about. This is like using a gift that I got from the universe, that I share with Mother Nature, that I can give to others. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. I feel so honored to have figured that out, because, like I said, I was happy, but I was not conscious the way I am now. And that just works together so lovely. I love knowing this. I love sharing this. And I love being able to be aware of all of this. Feels good when you say something that you know is right, and it just kind of like, wow, that's true. So now that I'm sitting here talking to you about it, I realize, yes, this is exactly where I belong, and I feel so grateful to know that. I'm a journaler and I'm a meditator, and I try to sit in gratitude. Every time I start journaling, it's always like, I am so grateful. I will start that way even when I want to rip off somebody's head. I always try to start my journal entries with a thank you or I am grateful. And then I roll into, oh my God, you are not going to believe what happened today. But everything for me starts truly with gratitude. I didn't realize how grateful I didn't realize about gratitude. I mean, those who know better do better. I would feel good around knowing this, but I didn't actually know it the way I know it now. You do things from different places when you're aware of them, you know? So I feel like I've learned that this is my talent and my gift, but if I don't share it, it'll be gone. Like it's not mine to take with me and just be like, I'm the owner of this and I'm great at it. None of that. I realize like when I'm sharing and giving, I'm getting something that's so different that it feels so good. And it's this reciprocal thing. And I feel like that's being plugged into the universe. That's the way you are in flow when you're doing something you love to be doing. And it's growing. When it's working, it's like, hell yes. Hell yes. I don't want to not sit in gratitude, but of course I have my days. The good thing is, and I will say this always, the path is wide. There's plenty of room to stay on this really healthy, connected path, even if one foot might be a little in the mud or the other one in a little quicksand or messy. It all works. Recently, I've been journaling about gratitude and about I am. I feel like I'm always like listening to things from spiritual people. And another thing, if they connect with my thinking, my soul, then I eat it all up and think about it. So I heard, I think it was Dr. Wayne Dyer, but I'm not sure. And he talked about always talking from the I am. And he says the top of your head, if you say things and really, say, I am a gardener that's successful, I am a healer, that it goes up to the top of your head, which in Kabbalah, this is called the crown and it's called Keter. And things that make it all the way up here are like soul level, because they say this is the line. The universe is up here and everything else is right under here. But with the top of your head, you're like right at that line in this little universal. And so I do a lot of I am, even if it's not like I am really not. I tried with the I am, and I do a lot of that kind of stuff because I listen to it all, and I do realize. I mean, you don't have to live as if, but if you keep with the I am, you are. I mean, we're all children from Adam and Eve. They were the founder, the co-founder, the founder and co-founder of this beautiful story. And they were like leaders. They knew how to do it. I mean, they broke the rules, but who doesn't? And we're all a piece of them. So with that, I am, and it's clicking with me. The more I study, the more I realize like all this positive, good connection, it works. It's a feeling that brings you to another feeling. And these are all like these good, high feelings, good energy, good vibration. It's plants have that. I want that. People that I really like that are bubbling, they have that. So I'm journaling about staying in that up on the top there. And I am that. Not that up on the top is I'm this, that, and the other, but up on the top where the good stuff is. The cream rises. I want to be where the good, creamy, juicy goodness is. I really do like that. And there's another thing that I want to share that I've come up with about myself that feels good. I work with all kinds of people. And sometimes as a gardener, as a working gardener, you're in people's homes and you're connected to people's money because, everything they want, it's only money. And you can't take it with you, so you might as well spend it in your garden. But sometimes people get weird about money. I know, I get weird about money. But sometimes when it's their house and they're spending a lot of money, there's something in there that gets a little funky. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I don't know if it's entitlement because I don't really think it is. But I've decided to look at people. I've been doing this for like a year already, and it truly helps me. I look at people like they're babies. And not because I want to treat them like they're babies, but I want to see them that way because I don't get mad at a baby. I don't judge a baby. I don't accuse a baby of like, what the hell are you talking about? They're babies. So when my clients get a little bit funky, and I just imagine them as a big baby, it's a visual, and I feel like, okay. I'm not talking to them like I said. I'm humble when I say I'm not thinking I'm the grown up and they're the baby. But I realize, like, obviously you're not feeling completely comfortable. You don't understand why to feel this way. You know, I don't really understand why you're feeling this way either, but I'm just going to say, okay, I'll explain it a little bit better. If you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it. If you want to do it, I think it would be fabulous. This starts coming to me as an adult. That's another like responsibility that I've learned, to be able to respond to people and accept what they want to say and be okay with it. I mean, it's their house, it's their money, it's their life. I know I want to do the things I want to do. I want to hope that it's all through love and we can understand and figure it out. I want to tell you this really good story that happened yesterday. So one of my clients who I truly adore, they have a home, and we put in this big, beautiful garden. They took out their grass. It was one of those, pull out the grass, and when you pull out the grass, there's lots of room to do lots of other things. That all costs a lot of money. Taking out the grass, and then you realize you got this big empty space, you're going to fill it. So these people they spent a lot of money, and it was fabulous. It is fabulous. Really it is. But things go slow. We weren't putting in 15 gallons. We were putting in 1s and 5 gallons. And when you grow a garden like anything else, you don't just go from 0 to 7th grade. You have to go kindergarten, first, second, third. There are steps to get there. So the wife called me with a text message that was like, you need to come here right away. We're very upset. And I was like, okay, because I don't usually get those kind. And so I did. I went there and I saw what they saw, which was, it wasn't fabulous. It wasn't like, it's been a month. At a month in a garden, when everything's working, you should really start seeing results. Plump and juicy. It's perfect weather for all that. Nothing was dead, but it was a little bit like, so I realized right then and there, like I could see what she was saying. I didn't really have to put a diaper on her and turn her into a baby. I got what she was saying. She didn't know how to say to me, like, I feels really, what's wrong here? Instead, she started saying, my neighbors think the garden looks terrible. My friends were over, they think the garden looks terrible. And I was like, whoa, and whoa. So I do understand what she's saying though, because I want fabulous too. And they spent a boatload of money. So it was all clear. It wasn't dead, and she was thinking it was dead. So I started cleaning and pruning and deadheading, which really a month-old garden should not need that. So definitely something is not fabulous there. And then I dug in a little and I saw that there was a load of snails. Snails all under the window, not all under, but there were snails under the window. There were snails on the plants, and snails are brutal. I mean, snails will suck the damn life out you. So I started saying, I pointed them out, and the husband was like, whoa, look at all these snails. And they started saying, because they leave a silver trail. You never want a snail trail. And so I started cutting, and I was there for like an hour. Definitely a big difference. I cleaned up and she was like, you have no idea how much better I feel, And so I said, let's turn on the irrigation, and I'm going to stand here, and we're going to see where I get wet on every plant. And we saw there were lots of plants that were not getting what they needed. So there was a whole bunch of tweaks. Nothing was the end of the world, but we need to use, some neem oil and some safer soap and some Sluggo, and we'll figure out a nice organic way to get it back. And I told them, I'm yours. I'm going to help you figure out, how to get this under control, because we want you to have a gorgeous garden. I want her to have a gorgeous garden. I love to, so I can share it with everybody else. You give, you get. So as I was leaving, and she was so grateful, I made sure to say, like, I just want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell your neighbors and your friends, they can kiss my grass, because this is not the fault of the gardener. It's the fault of Mother Nature and the fault of not really knowing what you need to know. And we all gave a big hug and everybody walked away. And that garden will be gorgeous and I will share it. But people only know what they know, and if I spent a load of money and I did not know that this might happen before that happens, I would be bummed too. I might handle a little different, but I'd be bummed too. So it just felt good to not react, not scream back, like, what are you talking about? I didn't even go there. Just was like, okay, I'm going to show you in a few easy clips and a couple of here, there, and the others how good this really is. And they felt that way. And when I left, they wrote me like, thank you so much. And it just felt so good, because when you can communicate these things, no matter what they are, it works. You tell me, I understand. I tell you, you understand. You need to have this communications. If you don't tell me, I don't know. If I won't tell you, if my kids don't tell me what's wrong, how in the world would I know? So it's like that whole thing starts coming together. It all grows like a garden. So the seeds are all there. We take care of our seeds. We take care of our weeds. We keep it together. These relationships are like beautiful gardens. And I'm happy to know that. And I'm happy to know them. And it all worked out really good. I feel like I am learning a different consciousness with leadership. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm pretty confident about my plants and the right plant in the right place, that I feel really comfortable will grow. I know I would never put a plant in that I didn't feel, it might not always work that way, but I wouldn't use a plant that, was not right for that place. Other, soils have their own personalities and attitude. But I think admitting is one big thing. Being able to admit, okay, maybe I didn't know, or maybe that was wrong. That's a big thing. And allowing people to have their moments of, her first place was to get mad at me. And she obviously I know she didn't want to shame me, but she definitely said, we want to give your name and we're not going to. And I was like, okay, you don't have to give my name, but I just want to make clear that this is the garden and not the person. Yeah. In some places there was too much water and they have a hose that needed to be fixed a while ago that was drippy. And up near that hose that's dripping, that's where under the window was. And that's where the snails were coming from. So, the whole irrigation needs to be done properly. We kind of band-aided it. And that's part of the problem too. So, but water is a huge problem of snails. And overhead sprinklers are a problem with snails. And it's a problem with like moldy, because, the plants are starting to grow and then the water is like in one spot. And there's a few things there, but it's all fixable. We caught it before anything was like, oh my God, we killed the whole damn place. And I feel like everything, you can flip anything. Nothing is a dead patch anywhere. It doesn't have to be. And if a plant died, you take it out and, obviously you can't replace everything, plants or people, but you can work around any single situation, no matter what. It's one thing if the whole garden died and we're like, what the hell? But that's not at all what happened. And that never what happened. But sometimes you get a little ahead of yourself and, but I feel like once you do plug in to realizing, like, I don't know everything. They might have something that are thinking something that they are right and I might not understand. I'm open to all of it. I am not thinking I'm the end all answer, even if I know exactly what plant goes where. They had their point too. That's a good thing to know as well. I've been thinking about my mom recently a lot. I'm going to be 63 this birthday. And I was thinking about what my mom was like at 63 and what she was doing with her friendships at 63. And if they're like me and my friendships at 63. And I have these juicy conversations, especially with my one friend, Mimsy. But I have friends that I have juicy conversations, whether it's about, dating or eating or nakedness or bodies, we go deep. And I was thinking, did my mom go deep, at 63? And I feel like the new 63 is different than my mom. This ain't your mama's 63. So I just think about how times change. And, I do feel like 63 is quite a bit older. And then I feel like it's just a number. And, but I've been thinking about my mom a lot lately and just how different really I am than she was, because I feel like she was older at 63 than I am now. And I think probably because she didn't have to work, and, she did have to work, but she retired where she was not happy. That's not going to happen to me. I'll go on to the next chapter, and we know better. I mean, you can't sit at home and watch the news all day, because God knows what happens to us then. But I've been thinking about that a lot too. And I've also been thinking about how so many people are coming up to figure out the same message about the universe from a million different channels. People are starting to understand connecting with your soul. People are starting to understand taking care of yourself. People are starting to understand about self-love. I feel like there's more and more people that are understanding that. So it feels like there's more, this thing is getting wider. I mean, the life around us is getting uglier, but the love and the message and the people that I'm around are getting deeper and juicier. So I really like that. And I really realize like there's a shift in the air. It's either you let go of what was, or you're going to be dragged. Let go or be dragged in life across the board. And I feel like there's a lot more people like letting go of details they have no control over anyway, and just accept. I mean, obviously we can't accept anything and lower the bar to the ground, but we have to open up and, and the other really important thing is let it begin with me. If I want to be around people that are of service and hustling and doing, I got to be of service, hustling and doing. So if I'm on my game, I feel like that's where I'm at. If I'm struggling in a little bit, that's where I'm at too. It's such there's a barometer in there that we can all read and that we all know. When you're having a down day, something. When you're having a great day, you know what feels good. I'm sticking to the good. Of course, I have a bad day, but, I try to lay in it, actually. I try to lay in the muck. I hate to do it. I'm well aware of today I'm feeling something, but I really do. I just try to sit in it and not run from it. Because I'm a girl that loves my sunny glasses, my rosy colored glasses, but those feelings, you can't rosy color them to death. They're there. So if I'm having a bad day, I don't have them that often, but when I do, bring it on. Yeah, that's the other thing. You're so aware and conscious of wow, that felt bad and now this feels good. That's what I mean. There's a barometer there. If you are in tune with yourself and your body and the feeling you get, it tells you. Literally. It's kind of it's not autopilot by any means, but if you're in the right place doing the right thing that is good for you, you can feel that. Just if you're in the wrong place, not doing the right thing, you feel that too. So I have been writing a book for the last 8 years with my dear girlfriend, Mimsy. And you've hopefully seen some of our podcasts. We're going to really be turning up the volume. But our book is on creationship, which is a sacred relationship between two spiritual and conscious people, that when you're together, the outcome is growth and transformation. And Mims and I we living in creationship. We have so much in common. We have a different spiritual path, but we're both on the path, and the path is wide. We are both creative souls completely, different creativities, but together. And we're writing a book about that because that creativity has healed both of us. And this creationship friendship has healed both of us in so many ways. And we're going to share that secret because it's so good and so doable that when you have that going, you can be flexible, you can let go, you can live in the moment, you can let go of worrying what it will be because you understand it's so much bigger than this. And that's what we're writing about. And we're mixing creativity and nature and beauty. And I'm so excited because we're actually really going to be doing this. So I'll keep you posted about what it is. But just know it's a magical story. And I'm on to like a little bit of a next chapter with this book. So that's really exciting as well. I got the podcast, Life is a Garden. I got the book on creationship, A Field Guide to Beauty Through Creationship. And I got you guys and this story that we're going to keep talking about because there's so much here. And I like it so much when we can talk about things. And I like the idea of you bringing up a topic and you and I just chatting and bring in others too, because it takes a village. And it's so nice to have other people's point of view. You can really learn a lot, when you're listening and open to other people. And that's something big I've learned too. I kind of thought I knew how to do it. Now I know nothing. And I love that too. That really is good. But I feel like there's lots of creativity and lots of sharing to be doing. And it's right here and it's right now and it's completely firmly planted and it's growing and it's seeds and it's juicy and it's gorgeous. And I'm so flippin' excited. I want to say thank you so much. I want to say I hope you'll meet me here next time at Jackalope. The scenery will always be beautiful. There'll always be living things surrounding us. We will always be in nature and we will always be having creative conversations. So I'm grateful for you for listening and I look forward to the next one.